In part 1 of this series, I covered the location of Gold Canyon, its water flow, and the type of bedrock you will find. One thing I did not do, though, is discuss the character of the gold. So here is a picture of a day's work in the canyon. The gold throughout is generally coarse and chunky, and sometimes even wiry. All is close to its source. And also sometimes there will be a mix of microgold. There is a modest percentage of silver incorporated in the gold. Visually, I'd say somewhere around 20%. And so the technical term for this is electrum. On some of the wiry type, you may see the tip in a more pure silver, and then the opposite end actually in a more pure gold. So back to our investigation of bedrock. This area is where I was mining, and the coordinates are north 39 degrees, 14.305, by west 119 degrees, 36.170. There is still plenty of gold very close to this area, but you need to be smart and facultative as you approach this bench, which is about 50 feet above the creek. Let me give you a very big clue. The bedrock here will deliver gold if it has seen ancient water flow and has remained untouched. These two things are both necessary to find gold. You won't find one without the other. So keep that in mind. Now, you can see where quite a few people after I abandoned this have invested a lot of time in continuing to clear this area. But look what is immediately above it. I was the first one here since the old timers, and I can tell you for sure that this is not sloughing. Those are tailings. And I can also tell you that you can work as hard as you want to further open up these kind of areas, but all you're going to find are overlooked materials. Don't spend your time trying to undercut tailings. So, if you prospect the benches up and down the canyon here, be highly cognizant of the border where your work meets any work of the old-timers. Sample, sample, sample. Let's move on and talk about sloughing. In Gold Canyon, it takes very little time during a good winter to fill in benches that have been cleared. Accepting the different types of bedrock strata here, the ground is highly unstable. Now, how do I know? Because this happened to me. So, what does knowing this have to do with you? A lot. When you see areas void of many rocks, especially of moderate size, and these areas are filled with a clay sand type material like this, assume you are looking at a mined area that exhibits sloughing. So these areas have been prospected before. Don't bother with them. Ideally, you are looking for areas where you can see a mixture of bedrock and river rock. This goes equally for the stream bed too. Take a look. Here is a bench covered by sloughing. The nice thing is, once you gain an eye for exactly how the sloughing works, you can begin to determine the borders of areas the old-timers may have missed.